This is Sadlier Level D, Unit 5A. So our first word for this unit is arbitrary, which is an adjective, and it means unreasonable, or it can also mean based on one's wishes or whims without regard for reason or fairness. So if you do something without putting too much thought into it or thinking logically about it, you could say that you did it in an arbitrary way. Your synonyms are capricious, high-handed, and autocratic. Your antonyms are reasoned, rational, objective, and equitable, meaning you're thinking of everyone. Your other forms, you have your adverb form arbitrarily, maybe the way you did or said something could be described as being done arbitrarily. And then our NESS noun ending, arbitrariness. And I used a magic 8-ball as my picture because the magic 8-ball is going to give you a really arbitrary answer. There's just those little shape thingy-merbobbers floating around in the liquid. You shake it up, you flip it over, you get an arbitrary answer to your yes or no question. And then my sentence, the teacher awarded bonus points in such an arbitrary way that no one understood why they had earned extra credit or why they didn't get anything. Oh no. So if the teacher's doing it in an arbitrary manner, it's sort of just done without any reason behind it, any fairness. It's done very just randomly almost. Then we move to catalyst. This is a science word as well. If you're thinking about experiments, you could think about a catalyst. It's a noun. It is a thing. And it can be a substance that causes or hastens a chemical reaction. So if you add vinegar to baking soda, the vinegar is the catalyst that makes it go fizzy, fizzy all over the place, like if you're making a volcano. But it can also be any agent that causes change. So anything that causes a change can be the catalyst for that change. Your synonyms are stimulus, spur, or instigator. So a stimulus can be kind of what you push out to make things happen. If you spur someone, think about the spur on the back of a cowboy boot. When they kind of kick the horse with it, it makes the horse go. Or an instigator, somebody that sort of starts the drama, as it were. There are no antonyms for this word, and your only other form is the plural noun form, catalysts. So the catalyst for that stick figure man getting stung by a bee is that he is poking that hive with a stick. So that is the catalyst for what's about to happen. And my sentence deals with the same thing. The child decided to poke at the hornet nest hanging from the tree, which became the catalyst for a swarm of hornets attacking him and stinging him. It was a very arbitrary decision, really. I don't think he put too much thought into that. Then we move into facilitate, and my face is cutting off the top of that picture. It says unstoppable on it. Facilitate is a verb, so be careful how you use it. It is an action, and it means to make easier or to assist. So your synonyms are ease, smooth the way, and simplify. Your antonyms are hamper, hinder, obstruct, and impede. All of those antonyms are things that would stop someone from doing something or make it more difficult for them to do it. Your other forms are your other verb forms. So you've got facilitated, facilitating, and facilitates. Your adjective form, facilitative, is not very common. I don't really ever hear people use that, but I do hear facilitate in the verb forms of it quite a bit. So our picture where it says unstoppable, we have a T-Rex with little grabbers on his tiny little arms, and my sentence deals with that just a bit. Because I'm very short and I don't have long enough arms, I was given an extender grabber for Christmas, which facilitates my ability to reach things in my kitchen. It makes it easier. It assists me. It smooths the way. It simplifies the process. It's great. I can grab all sorts of stuff with it. Then we go to my favorite word of the unit, incorrigible. Makes me feel like a stuffy British person. It's an adjective, and you would use it to describe a person that is not able to be corrected, beyond control, or your synonyms unruly, intractable, incurable, inveterate. So a very poorly behaved student you might describe as incorrigible. And it usually means that they have no interest in making themselves better or fixing the problem. Your antonyms are repairable, tractable, docile, and curable. You have other forms, 2 noun forms, incorrigibility and incorrigibleness. And then your adverb form that you could use to describe the way someone does something or says something could be incorrigibly. That picture, those children are absolutely incorrigible. They are beyond control. That looks awful. And our sentence, regardless of how many times I ask him to stop, the student is incorrigible and continues to call out, throw things, and eat stinky liver and onions in my classroom. He just won't fix the problem. Oh, so incorrigible. Then we move on to militant. Now, this is one of those two parts of speech words. So you've got your adjective form of militant that you can use to describe a person, somebody who is given to fighting or active and aggressive in support of a cause. You could say that's a really militant person. But it can also be a noun form, just an activist. You can be a militant. So in the picture, you have militants who are protesting, and they are being very militant about their belief. That was during the Vietnam War. They were protesting the war. Your adjective synonyms are truculent. Your adjective antonyms are unassertive, peaceable, and passive. You've got militantly. That's a really, really common adverb form of this word. Militantness is your noun form. It's not quite as common. In our sentence, the protester had a militant approach, so that's our adjective form, to his beliefs and continued to march every weekend for free chicken nuggets in all school cafeterias. He felt very militant about that. All right, we get to paramount, which is an adjective, not a noun. It is an adjective, and it is chief of importance and above all others. Your synonyms, supreme, primary, and dominant. It's something that is the most important thing. Your antonyms, secondary, subordinate, ancillary. Paramountly is your adverb form, not quite as common as just the simple adjective form. Some of you might recognize what's in that picture. And my sentence, it is paramount. It is chief in importance. It is the primary thing that you wear your retainer after your braces are removed. Otherwise, your teeth will not stay put. Trust me on this. I speak from experience. My retainer would definitely not fit anymore if I tried to fit it in my mouth. All right, then we get to rebut, which is a verb. You might recognize other forms of this word, but it means to offer arguments or evidence that contradict an assertion or to refute. So if you say something that someone disagrees with, they may try and rebut you, offer evidence to say you are not correct, to refute what you were saying, to disprove it, one of our synonyms. Our synonyms, disprove, confute, or shoot holes in. That's, again, one of those weird Sadlier synonyms. It doesn't literally mean that. It's kind of an idiom that you can shoot holes in something. You can make it, poke holes in all of the proof they're trying to offer and prove that it is not correct. Your antonyms are confirm, corroborate, or substantiate, all words that mean to offer support to something, to prove an argument. Your other forms are your verb forms, rebuts, rebutting, and rebutted. Rebuttable is an adjective, and you might know the word rebuttal, which is a noun form, to the actual argument against something. And again, I'm sort of cutting it off, but we have two people debating there. So if one of them makes an assertion, one of them makes a statement, the other may rebut their argument and try and prove them wrong. My sentence, although Miss Beck thinks William Shakespeare is the greatest author in the world, many of her students try to rebut her claim and prove that other authors are better and more famous. He's pretty famous. I don't know. There are authors who are better, but he's pretty famous. He's a pretty well-known guy. And then we get to reprimand. You'll maybe feel like this word's a little similar. We've had other words that mean kind of the same thing. Reprimand can be both a verb and a noun. The verb is to scold or to find fault with. You might admonish somebody. That can be similar to a reprimand. The noun form is the actual rebuke. It is the thing that is being said to you. Your synonyms for the verb, it's reproach. For the noun, it's reproof. Your verb antonym is to pat on the back. So to say something nice to a person. And reprimands is our plural noun form. And they're not listed there. For whatever reason, I missed that. But our other verb forms, reprimands, reprimanded, and reprimanding. So I have two sentences, one for the verb form and one for the noun form. So our sentence, the first one is the verb form. You only need one sentence, but I gave you two. Miss Beck had to reprimand her students because they didn't turn in their work and failed the quarter. I had to scold you. I had to find fault with what you did. And then my noun form, the thing form of it, the reprimand, Miss Beck gave her students, made a few of them feel sad. Not all of you, obviously, but some of you do feel sad if I reprimand you. Our next word is servitude, which is a noun. Be careful with this. It is not a verb. You cannot servitude a thing. Servitude is the thing. And it's another word for slavery or forced labor. Your synonyms are bondage and thraldom. Your antonym is liberty. There are no other forms of this word. You can see the picture there of people working in servitude. And our sentence, even today in America, we have servitude as a punishment for certain behaviors and criminal actions, that forced labor idea. All right. My other favorite word of this unit, slapdash. It's an adjective and it means careless and hasty. I like to think that if you are dashing around because you are you don't have enough time left, you're just going to slap something together. Therefore, it can be described as slapdash. Your synonyms are cursory, perfunctory, and slipshod. Such a fun word. Your antonyms are painstaking, thorough, and in-depth. There are no other forms of this word. That cake in the picture really looks like it was kind of a slapdash effort. I don't know what was going on with Mandy's birthday. That is not a great looking cake. And then in our sentence, which maybe some of you will feel is a bit real, because the student forgot that the essay was due at the end of class, he quickly threw something together and turned in a slapdash assignment. Needless to say, he got a 50% on his work, because none of my students ever turn in slapdash work. No one ever waits till the last minute to do their assignments or forgets about them, obviously. And that is the end of our Unit 5A, Level D, Sadlier vocabulary words.